Before we get started this evening, I want to cover a couple of That's not your time to do it back to me, Michael. That's your time to shh. I want to cover a couple of housekeeping things before we get started. If you have a yarmulke on your head and you drop it on the floor, some people were taught at an early age, I was too, to kiss it. It's a piece of cloth. It's a shmata. It is. It's a piece of cloth. Anything can serve as a yarmulke. A hat, a cloth, a helmet. As long as your head is covered, that is the point of the. You can look at me in as many different faces as you want, Michael, but this is just true. Okay? Now, if you have a prayer inside it and it has God's name on it, and you put it and drop it on the floor, then you kiss it. You drop something with God's name on it, you pick it up, you kiss it out of respect for God. Now, I'm not pointing any fingers at anyone. I'm not speaking to anyone in particular. If you drop a prayer book, Barry, turn me down a little bit, please. I can hear feedback. If you drop a prayer book, you absolutely must pick up that. Well, it's even louder. Yeah. Barry, down, not up, please. You absolutely must pick up that prayer book and kiss it. And then, when you put it back on the shelf, please make sure that it's facing the correct direction. If you turn it upside down, like I saw somebody do, and I had to go in and fix it for them, it means more work for me. You would not want to put a Torah upside down. You would not put a prayer book upside down. But that's all the housekeeping for this evening. At camp, where I was the last 2 weeks, when you walk into the dining hall, there are shelves they're called camp ones of these, and they're bigger, and they're not hardback, they're softbacks. There's like 60 of them. They don't use them anymore because they have everything now on display, so they don't use the book except for B'nai Mitzvah tutoring, which we do twice a week. I don't even want to tell you, I didn't even look at those books when I walked in and out of the dining hall because they're packed so closely in this little shelf. It literally would take me an hour every time to fix it, so I don't even look. But you might notice sometimes me over there fixing the books because that's what I do. And apparently Rachel, who has the same OCD issues that I do, apparently fixed them last week. So let's try and keep some semblance of organization or something. Is it hot in here or is it just me? I turned it down too. I don't have my phone with me. Okay, well, I turned it down to 72. I'm not sure why, but maybe. Okay, so now let's continue our service because we have two things to do today. We have our regular service, and we also have to welcome a new Jew. Is he in here? Oh, there he is, yes. We have to welcome a new Jew into our community, so we're going to do that before the service begins. But if you had something that happened in your life, let's go all the way back 3 weeks ago, if you'd like. And you'd like to share with the congregation, please raise your hand, and Madam President will come by, and she will put the microphone below your face so you can tell us what the news is. We'll come to you last, Akiva. Nobody has any good news? Yes. Please, something. There's been at least one birthday this week.
We both got engaged.
To each other, I assume? To each other? Mazal Tov.
It's definitely good.
Mazal Tov.
Anyone else?
Most important things.
I know.
There are two phrases that you will hear from lots of other people that are most important two phrases to know if you're getting married. Yes, dear, and I'm sorry. Nothing else matters. That's only for him, of course. I'm talking to him.
So our triplets had their 28th birthday on August 3rd.
Congratulations to them, and God bless their mother. I saw it done with one child. I can only imagine what it's like with three. Does Emma have something she wants to say?
I turned 10.
As he did. He did while we were gone. Double digits. We have no more single digits in our home, except for our dog, but doesn't count. She's 7, dude. Anybody else? 49 math guy. Anybody else? Okay. Wonderful. Well, it's been a light week for goodness, I guess. I think it just turned back on. I think it just turned on. Yeah, I can hear it. Okay. I would like to invite Jose Robles up to the bima. Oh, do you have the microphone still? Can you give it to him? Right here. You'll have a couple things to say. Not right now. This Shabbat marks a special moment for you, our synagogue community, and the Jewish people. Your hard work and dedication along this part of your Jewish journey has led you to this important moment in your Jewish life. This is the moment of Kabbalat Ul Malchut, the accepting the yoke of heaven. Tonight you are accepting the lifelong devotion to God, Torah, and the Jewish people. By doing so, you are devoting yourself to making this world a better place for all of God's creations through mitzvot and acts of loving kindness. It is with honor and joy that I stand here tonight to welcome you into the Jewish faith in front of your family, your friends, and community members. Upon this acceptance of this Jewish yoke, you will embrace the Torah and you will utter the sacred words of Shema. The future of the Jewish people will be stronger and more secure. So, Jose, in front of this entire congregation, I ask you one more time, and please do it into the microphone so they can all hear. Are you sure you would like to take this final step in your conversion process?
Yes, I do.
Great. I scripted that. Great. I have never once had to say, oops. At this sacred, joyous moment, we renew the covenant at Sinai between God and the people of Israel. Grant, O God, your loving favor to Jose as in this holy place we welcome him into Jewish life. Help him to live in fidelity to the decision he has made and to the promise he is about to utter. May he always find joy in the fulfillment of your Torah and enduring satisfaction in practice of Judaism. Vouchsafe unto him many years of strength and happiness as a worthy son of your covenant. Blessed are you, God, in whose presence is the fullness of joy. And together we say, Amen.
Amen.
Jose Robles has met the requirements for conversion and has demonstrated his will by vowing to enter the eternal covenant between God and the people Israel, becoming a Jew of his own free will. He accepts Judaism to the exclusion of all other religious faiths and practices, and pledges his loyalty to Judaism and to the Jewish people under all circumstances. He promises to establish a Jewish home and to participate actively in the life of the synagogue and the Jewish community. He commits himself to the pursuit of Torah and Jewish knowledge. And I ask that you read starting here, and you'll go all the way down to there.
I need my glasses.
You want to repeat after me?
Yeah.
All right, the microphone. I am a Jew because
I am a Jew because
my faith demands of me
my faith demands of me
no abdication of mind.
no abdication of mine.
I am a Jew because
I am a Jew because
my faith requires of me
my faith requires of me
all the devotion of my heart.
all the devotion of my heart.
I am a Jew because
I am a Jew because
in every place where suffering weeps,
in every place where suffering weeps,
I weep.
I weep.
I am a Jew because
I am a Jew because
at every time when despair cries out,
at every time when despair cries out,
I hope.
I hope.
I am a Jew because
I am a Jew because
the word of the people Israel,
the word of the people
the
of
word,
Israel. The word. I'm
the
trying to
word.
read it, so.
Okay, the word of the people Israel
The word of the people Israel
is the oldest and the newest.
is the oldest and the newest.
I am a Jew because
I am a Jew because
the promise of Israel
the promise of Israel
is the universal promise.
is the universal promise.
I am a Jew because
I am a Jew because
for Israel,
for Israel
the world is not completed.
the world is not completed.
We are completing it.
We are completing it.
I am a Jew because
I am a Jew because
for Israel,
for Israel
humanity is not created.
humanity is not created.
We are creating it.
We are creating it.
Just two more. I am a Jew because
I am a Jew because
Israel places humanity
Israel places humanity
and its unity
and its unity
above the nations
above the nations
and above Israel itself.
and above Israel itself.
I am a Jew because
I am a Jew because
above humanity,
above humanity,
image of the divine unity,
image of the divine unity,
Israel places unity,
Israel places unity,
which is divine.
which is divine.
Please rise as I invite Jose to join me at the ark. Come over here, please, Jose. At your Beit Din, you uttered a promise affirming your commitment to God and to the Jewish people. You affirmed your loyalty under all circumstances to the Jewish people and your promise to establish a Jewish home and to always remain in pursuit of Torah and Jewish knowledge. Now, Jose, on this special Shabbat for our synagogue community and the Jewish people, you stand before the open ark and before the commanding presence of the Torah, the Jewish people's most cherished treasure. It has led us on the way and guided us ever since we received it at Sinai. It has been carried during the times of our greatest rejoicing and when we fled from burning synagogues and villages. Put the microphone here, please. You got it? I place the Torah in your arms. Take it to your heart as you now recite Shema, the words on the lips of the Jew until the moment of death, the affirmation that has sustained the Jewish people in its life since our beginnings. Shema Yisrael,
Shema Israel,
Adonai Eloheinu,
Adonai Eloheinu,
Adonai Echad.
Adonai Ehad.
Baruch Shem Kavod,
Baruch Shem Kevod,
Malchuto,
Malkuto,
Leolam,
Leolam,
Va'ed.
Baed.
Hear, O Israel,
Hear, O Israel,
Adonai is our God,
Adonai is our God,
Adonai is one.
Adonai is one.
Blessed is God's glorious kingdom
Blessed is God's glorious kingdom
forever and ever.
forever and ever.
And Andrea and Alan, before you ask, it is rolled to the right place for tomorrow. Come on over here. You are known by the name Jose, which means that you are always linked in love to those who gave you life. And from this time forth, you shall also be known within the Jewish community as Yosef Ariel. May this name bring respect to you and honor to the Jewish people. We rejoice in our welcoming you in our midst, one that willingly and devotedly helps replenish the ranks of our people. As our people have done through the ages, I ask God's blessing on you in ancient words. And for those of you that sat down, please rise. I didn't tell you to sit. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yikuneka. Yisad Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God's presence be with you always. May God's light and sustenance shine faith and brightly upon you. And may you always have peace. And now we say, Amen. And now you may be seated. So Jose will get to keep. This will be yours. Also, this is Jose's certificate of conversion. It says, this is to certify that Yosef Ariel ben Moshe v'Miriam, Jose Robles, having sought to join the household of Israel by accepting the religion of Israel and promising to live by its principles and practices, was received into the Jewish faith on Wednesday, August 5th, 2026, the 22nd of Av, 5786, by Temple Beth Shalom, Ocala, Florida, signed by myself, the president, and Herb Katz. Mazel tov and congratulations. And now, this is yours. Thank you.
Mazel tov, Jose.
Okay. Now, I'd like to invite Amy Schwartz up to the bima, not to the bima, to the candles, to light them. We are on page 2 or on the screen. Amy? Before you continue, I wanted to say something that shows Jose's diligence. So, for those of you that may have been paying attention to the weather yesterday, it was not pleasant. And the mikveh that we used was at someone's home out near the shores, and which is about 25 or so minutes from here. And it was thundering and lightning. And I said to Jose, I am not the kind of rabbi that's going to have someone get electrocuted while they're trying to convert to Judaism. But I also had a meeting to get back here at 5:30. So I set the mikveh at 4 at this place, at this person's home, and it kept going and kept going. At about 4:45 or so, I had said to Jose, I'm good time-wise, so I got to be out of here at 5. So at 4:45, 4:48, I looked at Jose and I said, Jose, I've done many conversions in my life, and not all of them have had a mikveh. So you've done the Beit Din, you've done the studying, I'll give you your certificate. You're Jewish for all intents and purposes, and if you want to come back and do the mikveh later, that's perfectly fine. And he said, no, I want to do it today. So I waited 4 minutes till I didn't see lightning. And I said, all right, get undressed and get in the water. And it was like dunk, blessing, dunk, blessing, dunk, blessing. He got up from the third blessing, does the blessing. I said, okay, you're done. He goes, I didn't do 3 dunks. I said, yes, you did. Dunk, blessing. If you've done 3 blessings, you've done 3 dunks. And he goes, I'm going to do a 4th one because I'm not sure. At which point I said to him, you're not the first conversion that I've done. So he's already one ahead for the next. You've already done the mikveh for an extra time, so you're good. Now, candles, please.
Asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter this sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love.
Amen. Thank you, Amy, and you can give the microphone back to Rachel. And just because you're so faithful, please rise. Not you, Amy, everybody. I mean, you're faithful too, but page, I believe it's 5 in the book, if you don't want to watch on the screen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher Kedishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom tehila lemikrai kodesh zecher letziyat Mitzrayim Kivanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol hamim v'shabbat kodshecha b'yahava uvratzon Hinchaltanu Baruch Atah Adonai Mikadesh HaShabbat L'chaim. You're back there. I'm not coming all the way back to you. Please be seated. We continue with the singing of Hine Matov on page 10.
Hine matovu manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matovu manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad.
Jose, come on back up here again, please. Some of you may have thought, well, that's weird. Rabbi didn't do Shechianu when he always does Shechianu after a conversion. And that's true. I always do Shechianu after conversion. However, we have a very special evening tonight. And the fact that Jay Christman has never played and sung together in front of the congregation. So we're going to do a Shechianu for both of you. Okay? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Blessed are you, God, ruler of the universe, who has given us life, who has sustained us, and then has enabled us to reach this season. And we say together, Amen.
Amen.
Now we're done. See, I didn't want to dwell too much on it, but I definitely wanted both of them to get credit. Page 18. A psalm of David. Ascribe to Adonai, O divine beings. Ascribe to Adonai the glory of God's name. Ascribe to Adonai glory and strength. Bow down to Adonai, majestic in holiness. The voice of Adonai is over the waters. The God of glory thunders. Adonai over the mighty waters. The voice of Adonai is power. The voice of Adonai is majesty. The voice of Adonai breaks cedars. Adonai shatters the cedars of Lebanon. God makes Lebanon skip like a calf, Syrian like a young wild ox. We continue with the singing of Shalom Aleichem, which is on page 24.
Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharit, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamchim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Boachem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malkei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharit, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, Malach HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu ni l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Akarit, Achashei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu ni l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharit, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
So let me teach you the clue to this prayer. Shalom Aleichem, that's the first and the last. Boachem l'shalom means come in. Bo means come in. Baruchuni, Baruch, bless us. And then Zetchem, get out. Seriously, that's what it means. Enter, bless us, and then depart. So if you ever get confused as to which verse goes when, we're not going to ask them to go before they bless us. We got to let them in before we can bless. So let them in, bless us, and then go. Please rise. 26, Chatzi Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, v'yamad divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala, ba'agala, uv'izman kariv, v'imeru, amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach, le'olam u'l'olmei omaya, yitbarach, yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar, v'yitramam, v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar, v'yitaleh, v'yitalal, Shmei Dekudesha Brichu, Le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma, v'imeru, amen. Page 28. Baruch Hu et Adonai, HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai, HaMevorach, Leolam Va'ed. Please be seated. Continue on page 30 with Ma'ariv Aravim. Baruch Atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher bidvaro Ma'ariv Aravim, B'chokhmah potech she'arim, uvidvuna mishanei itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umsader et hakochavim, B'mishmerotehem barakia kirtsono. Barei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or. Uma'avir yom umevi layla, umavdil ben yom uvein layla, Adonai tziva'ot shemo. El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, ma'ariv aravim. Page 32. Ahavat olam beit Yisrael amcha ahavta Torah u'mitzvot chukim u'mishpatim otanu limadata. Al kain Adonai Eloheinu b'shochbenu uvkumenu nasiach bechukecha v'nizmach b'divrei Toratcha u'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ki heim chayenu ve'orech yamenu uvahem negeh yomam v'layla v'havatcha al tasir mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael. Please rise for the Shema, page 34.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malkuto Leolam Boed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malkuto Leolam Boed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
Please be seated. We continue on page 38 with the Ve'ahavta. Page 36. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meodecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'derech u'shochbecha uv'kumecha u'kshartam le'ot al yadecha v'hayulatot afot b'neinecha u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'tem kedoshim le'Elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem emet. We continue singing Micha Mocha on page 40. Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 Micha Mocha ba Elim Adonai Micha Mocha nedar ba Kodesh Norah Tehilot Osefele Norah Tehilot Osefele Malechutecha Ra'uvanecha Bokei Yam Lifnei Moshe u'Miriam Ze Elianu ve'amru Ze Elianu ve'amru Adonai Yimloch leolam vaed. Adonai yimloch leolam vaed. Page 43. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom, aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. Veshamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam. Veshamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael, oti leolam, oti leolam. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam. Please rise, turn to page 46 for the Amidah. Adonai sefaitai tiftach ufi agid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chastei Avot v'Imahot, U'mevi Geula Livnei v'Nehem, L'ma'an Shmo B'Ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, V'ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye HaKol et Harav Le'Hoshia, Morid HaTal, Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem emunato Lishenei afar, mi chamocha ba'al gevurot, umido melach, melech mimitz umechaye, umatzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman ata l'hachayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, mechaye hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yihallelu selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. Please be seated. Before I continue the prayer book, I want to mention to you guys another. It's not a housekeeping thing, but it's a choreography thing. So at camp, kids do all kinds of crazy choreography in the prayers. Some of them are kind of annoying. Some of them are cute. Some of them just don't belong in a prayer service, but whatever, the kids are somewhat participating. But after the service, one of the services was over, one of the kids came up to me and two other rabbis. They didn't ask the question to me, so I didn't answer right away, because there were two other rabbis. And the question was to my colleague, Rabbi, why do some people bow at certain places and some people don't bow at certain places? And the rabbi, being the wise colleague of his, said, can you give me an example? And so the little boy, actually this kid was probably 12, they weren't a little boy, but said, yes, in the Avot ve'imahot, people bow at the beginning and then they bow at the end. In the Givurot and the Atakadosh, some people bow at the end, but not everybody does. At which point I put my hand up and said, that's a really good question. I remember being taught at HUC in seminary that we don't bow at the Givurot and we don't bow at the Atakadosh. But I couldn't remember why, so I've never said anything. I just said that's a really good question. So my colleague, who's much wiser than I am, he said it because in the Talmud somewhere, and I didn't ask him where, the rabbis talk about book-ended prayers. If the prayer begins Baruch atah Adonai and it ends Baruch atah Adonai, you bow both places. But you don't bow once. So like, so for the Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, you don't bow at the beginning, so you don't bow at the end. And I thought, oh, that's really interesting. I'll bring that back to my congregation because I know some people have asked that before. So again, just like everything else in Judaism, multiple answers to different questions. But just so you know, there is an answer as to why we don't bow in certain prayers. But that's a whole different choreography. I'm only doing one choreography at the time. I can teach an entire class on choreography of the service. Maybe we'll do that one year. When I look out into the world today, I am not satisfied. I see ignorance, I see poverty, I see a lack of recognition. Why have so many forgotten the other? There seems to never be enough, but surely that cannot be. Shabbat is supposed to bring us pause. In today's world of war and hatred, how can we be satisfied? Are we delusional, or do we not care anymore? Let Shabbat be a time when we pause and reflect. Let Shabbat be a time for us to be shaken. Let Shabbat be a time to remember our history. Let Shabbat be a reminder of what we can do, not just what we have done. God, help us to recognize that our sanctuaries cannot truly be a sanctuary until it provides sanctuary for all of God's children. Justice, truth, reality, these are our responsibilities. Even on Shabbat, we must work to do better. Remind us that Shabbat is not a time to sit back and ignore. Let Shabbat be a time for us to be awoken. Let Shabbat be a time for us to get out and act. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. We continue on page 56. Please read with me in English on the middle of the page. Find favor, Adonai our God, with your people Israel, and accept their prayer in love. May the worship of your people Israel always be acceptable. God, who is near to all who call, turn lovingly to your servants. Pour out your Spirit upon us. Let our eyes behold your loving return to Zion. Blessed are you, Adonai, whose presence returns to Zion. Page 60. Please sing with me. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atau melech Adon lechol hashalom. Ki atau melech Adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael bechol eit uvechol sha'a bishlomecha. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Baruch atah Adonai, hamavarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. Please join us as we sing Oseh Shalom, page 62.
Oseh Shalom bimromav, Uyaseh Shalom aleinu, V'al kol Yisrael, V'imru, Amen. Ya'aseh Shalom, Ya'aseh Shalom, Shalom aleinu, V'al kol Yisrael, Ya'aseh Shalom, Ya'aseh Shalom, Shalom aleinu, Ve'al kol Yisrael.
We take a few moments now for our own silent thoughts and prayers. I was gone for 2 weeks, as you probably know. I did my best to keep this list up to date. When I got back into town, I saved all of Vanessa's Mishaberach notes that she sent to me and Rachel so that I could update the list. There were a few people that sent in numbers of several names, so I tried to pull some names off that were being taken off and replace those names to keep it looking like this. So if you do not believe you see someone's name because you're looking alphabetically, it's quite possible that they're there, just not alphabetically, because even though that's the way it started, For example, David Lucasio and Joe Coltrera, and then Jerry Siegel, and then Marge Graciano. Clearly that's not alphabetical. So before you call in the office and complain that your person wasn't on there, please make sure that you look and see. And if you want, if you're not sure, feel free to say their name out loud, because we can say names as many times as we want for those prayers. So if there's a name that you'd like to add this week for healing, please raise your hand. Jay. Yes, Sharon Lehman, I'll say your name for you. Okay.
Alicia K. Abbott and Kevin Delore in Jersey.
Page 253 is Misha Berach, or you can listen to the words on the screen.
Misha Berach Avoteinu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishe Berach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
This Shabbat, as we open Parshat Re'eh, we are greeted by one of the most famous, commanding openings in the entire Torah. Moses stands before the assembly and delivers a stark, simple imperative. Re'eh, see. See, I set before you today a blessing and a curse. It is a striking grammatical choice. The word re'eh is written in the singular, you individual see, even though Moses is addressing a massive collective audience of hundreds of thousands of souls. Right from the opening verse, the Torah is dropping an anchor into the human psyche. Before a blessing or a curse can exist out in the world, it must first pass through the lens of individual human perception. Sight is not merely a passive biological function. It is a profound moral choice. What we choose to look at, and more importantly, how we choose to interpret what stands directly in front of us, governs the kind of society we build. As the Parsha unfolds, the Torah makes it explicitly clear that spiritual understandings of what we see are directly connected to how we handle our money, our resources, and our obligations to the vulnerable. In chapter 15, as the Torah outlines the revolutionary laws of Shemitah, the sabbatical year of debt release, it moves from sweeping legal mandates to deeply personal psychological warnings. The Torah cautions us, quote, "If there is a needy person among you, do not harden your heart, and do not shut your hand against your needy kin," end quote. And then, just a few verses later, it diagnoses the underlying root of that closed fist. Quote, "Beware lest you lodge a base thought in your heart, saying the 7th year, the year of remission, is near, and you look with an evil eye, the ra'ah eincha, upon your needy brother, and give him nothing." Notice the precise sequence of human behavior mapped out in this text. The closed fist does not start with the fingers. The hardened heart does not begin in the chest. It begins with the eye. When the Torah warns against the evil eye, it is not talking about mystical superstitions or ancient curses, poo, poo, poo. It is diagnosing a very real, very modern psychological phenomenon: the scarcity mindset. When the sabbatical year approaches, the year when all debts are wiped clean, the natural defensive human reflex is to panic. We look at the person asking for help and we calculate our own risk. We think, if I give to them now, will I have enough for myself tomorrow? What if the system fails me? What if they don't deserve it? What if they waste it? I can't give every homeless person I see $1. I'll have nothing left. Why give this one this and not this one? And have you ever been to Houston and you decided giving out dollars every homeless person you'd see, you'd be in the red before you reach an hour in Houston. Under the influence of this scarcity mindset, our vision flattens. We stop seeing a human being made b'tselem Elohim, in the divine image, and we start seeing a liability. We see a threat to our security, a drain on our financial bandwidth, one of my favorite words, or a potential burden on our future. We convince ourselves that our resources are entirely ours, that the vulnerable are ultimately responsible for their own plight, or that systemic poverty is simply too vast for our individual generosity to matter anyway. The evil eye is nothing more than the psychological armor we put on to justify holding on to what we have. It is the art of looking at another person's suffering through a lens that absolves us of responsibility. Don't we see this exact same optical distortion operating in our world today? We live in a culture that relentlessly conditions us to look at the world through the lens of scarcity and judgment. When we walk past someone experiencing homelessness on the street, or when we read about families struggling under the crushing weight of medical debt or rising living costs, how often does our internal narrative shift into self-preservation? We quietly ask ourselves whether they worked hard enough, whether they made poor choices, or whether giving them something would just perpetuate a broken cycle. We diagnose what is wrong with them so that we don't have to look at what's broken in us. We use judgment as a shield against empathy. We harden our hearts because maintaining an open heart in an uncertain world feels terrifying and unsafe. To step out of this trap, Parshat Re'eh demands a radical shift in our spiritual optics. A shift, a pivot from a scarcity mindset to a covenantal mindset. Not covet, covenantal mindset. In the Torah's economic version or vision, wealth and resources are not private hoarding grounds meant to guarantee our absolute safety. They are divine trusts placed in our hands to circulate dignity throughout the world. The commandment, Ki patoach tiftach et yadcha, rather, you shall surely open your hand, is phrased with a double verb for emphasis. The Torah knows that opening a closed hand requires double the effort because it first requires us to open our eyes. True economic justice is not merely a cold, bureaucratic transaction or a begrudging duty. It is an act of seeing. It is the spiritual discipline of retraining our eyes until we can look past our own anxieties and recognize that the person in need is not a stranger or a threat, but our kin. When we reframe our vision, generosity ceases to feel like a personal loss or a sacrifice of our safety. It becomes an act of communal restoration. When we change what we see, our closed fists naturally unclench. This exact psychological pivot is illustrated in a timeless rabbinic story. A wealthy man once went to visit his rabbi seeking counsel on how to find greater meaning in his life. The rabbi listened quietly, then took the man by the hand and led him to the window overlooking the busy town square. "Tell me, my friend," the rabbi said, "what do you see?" The wealthy man looked out into the street and he replied, "I see people. I see a mother holding her child. I see a street vendor pulling a heavy cart. I see tired workmen walking home after a long day." The rabbi nodded. Then he led the man across the room and stood him directly in front of a large, elegant mirror hanging on the wall. "Now," the rabbi instructed, "look here and tell me, what do you see?" The man looked at his reflection, slightly puzzled, and answered, "I see myself." The rabbi looked at him and gently and said, "Consider this carefully. The window is made of glass, and the mirror is made of glass. But the mirror is coated with a thin layer of silver. The moment silver is added to the glass, you stop seeing others and you can only see yourself. Our great spiritual task in this life is to scrape away the silver so that we can look through the glass once again and see the human being standing on the other side. This is the ultimate challenge that Parshat Re'eh places before us tonight. Wealth, power, fear, and the frantic pursuit of personal security act just like that thin layer of silver. The moment we allow our fears of scarcity to coat our vision, the transparent glass of human connection turns into a reflective surface. We become trapped in a room of mirrors, unable to see past our own anxieties, our own needs, and our own self-preservation. The commandment, Re'eh, see, is an invitation to pick up the tools of our tradition and actively scrape away the silver. It is a call to look to our community, our economy, and our neighbors through windows rather than mirrors. As we step into this Shabbat, may we find the courage to confront the scarcity in our own hearts. May we trade the defensive safety of the closed fist for the brave, transformative responsibility of the open hand. And may we learn to look at every human being who crosses our path with eyes of compassion equity, and unconditional dignity. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may this be God's will. And let us say, Amen. I would like to invite the children up. You can come too, Emma. Don't listen to your dad. You can come too. That's the only time I'll ever tell you not to listen to your dad. Please rise. Page 282 at the bottom. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kigoye haratzot, velo samanu k'mishpachot hadama, shelo sam chalkenu kahem, v'goralenu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu koreim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. Shabbat. Thank you. Please be seated. We continue to pray and remember the hostages that were killed on October 7th, 2023. This week we remember Major Reserve Harel Birenstock, 34 years old of Nokdim, who served in the 55th Paratroopers Brigade's 2855th Battalion, who was killed during a security operation in southern Lebanon when an explosive device detonated inside a building. And Chief Master Sergeant of Reserves, Tamir Vaknin, 33 years old of Eilat, serving in the 55th Paratrooper Brigade's 2855th Battalion, was killed by an explosive that detonated when troops entered a building in Majal Zun. We add to those names the following: Walter Cleveland, father of Deb Johnson; Joseph Stone, father of Larry Stone; Harold Lieberman; Arlene Webman, sister of Stan Webman; Marcia Parness, mother of Steve Parness; Brian Leibowitz, husband of Terry Leibowitz; Ida Cohn; Sidney Singer, brother of Larry Singer; Fanny Hoffman, grandmother of Jay Cohen; Rabbi Samuel Dove Berman, husband of Dale Berman; Ruth Morris, mother of Michael Morris; Reba Heyman, grandmother of Melissa Yarger; Barbara Hoppenfeld, sister of Bill Fox; Judy Greenspan, friend of Wayne and Raylyn O'Mell; Bertha Steinman; and Seymour Lawrence, father of Richard Lawrence. If there is another name that you'd like to add to our prayers of memory this Shabbat, please raise your hand. Okay. We rise together as a community, turn to page 294, and we continue with Mourner's Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, bi'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon v'yomechon, u'v'chayei dichol beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevorach leolam u'lamei almaya. Yitzbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei d'kedusha b'rechu le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tush bechata v'nechemata ta'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Osei shalom b'mramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'yimru amen. Zichronam livracha, may all their memories be for a blessing, as we say together, amen. Please be seated. And now, for some announcements.
He's weird.
Sorry, you renewed
No, I didn't hire you.
You renewed me.
Tomorrow morning, Shabbat morning services begins at 10:30 a.m. The next 3 Shabbatot, Friday nights, are at 7 p.m. I will not be here on the 21st, so Steve will be sitting in for me. Events. Religious school registration is Sunday, this coming Sunday, from 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. And the first day of religious school is Sunday, August 16th at 9:30 a.m. Sisterhood membership drive is August 9th at from 2 to 4. The board, a sisterhood board meeting is at 1 o'clock? 1 o'clock. Yes, also on Sunday. So come meet your sisterhood board. Refreshments will be served between 2 and 4. The yearly dues are $40, 18 of which goes to support the Women of Reformed Judaism. Yearbook. Barbara is here today, so if you have any changes, additions, please see her before you leave today. TBS cookbook still ongoing. Bill Fox is here, so you can see him. Is anybody having issues with ShulCloud with logging in? Awesome. That's the kind of answer I like. Beam of Flowers are sponsored by Hillary Zalesnik in honor of Chuck's birthday. And the Oneg is sponsored by all of us. Shabbat Shalom.
So I want to say thank you to Jay Cohen because he has purchased a domain. So our website will no longer be what we've given you, but it's okay because what we've given you will still go to the new website. But the new website is going to be so much easier. It's just going to be tbsocala.org. And it will go through ShulCloud. Jay paid for, I think, $12, something like that, to buy the domain and donate it to the temple. And the primary reason why we're doing this is because I am still getting the announcements in my junk mail, even though I've moved it over 5 times into my inbox, and even made you a favorite, one of my address book entries, because this is technological information you don't need, but it needs to leave my head before I can continue. The ShulCloud uses an Amazon-based system to do their mail servicing. Amazon looks at Google, Gmail specifically, and says, oh, like 80% of the stuff that comes from Gmail is spam. So there's a very good chance, like very high chance, that not only will the emails that come from a Gmail account go into your spam, but you may not ever even get it. With this new domain, the emails will be from our domain, therefore they will not be blocked and they will not be used, they will not be seen as spam unless you yourself make it spam, and that's your problem. Because I hope that you don't do that. Jay, you did a great job tonight. Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to having you join me again. And now that I know that you're comfortable doing it by yourself, maybe even when Dale and Susan are going to be here, I'll still have you do it by yourself, because now we've got options. Options are always good. Okay, our closing song this evening is Aniva Atah, which is on page 348. You and I will change the world, you and I, then all will join us. Though it's been said before, it doesn't matter. You and I will change the world. You and I will start from the beginning. It may be difficult. Oh, that's not an Ivata. I was reading an Ivata. See, I've been gone for 2 weeks. I'm out of practice. I'm not going to repeat what I just said when we get to the closing song. Don't mock me when I have a knife, Joseph Swit. That's not a threat, FBI. I'm not threatening anybody, if you're watching. It's definitely not a Rachel. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. And Publix. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Avon. And now, Aniva Atah, but let me just finish the food in my mouth. Wah, 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 wah. Ani ve'ata nishane et ha'olam. Ani ve'ata az yavo kvar kar kulam. Amru et sekodem lifanai. Zelo mishana, zelo mishene. Ani ve'ata nishane et ha'olam. Everyone sing. Ani ve'ata nishane et ha'olam. Ani ve'ata az yava kuvar kulam. Amru esekodem lifanai zelo mishane. Ani ve'ata nishane et ha'olam. And we're going to stop there. Shabbat Shalom. See you in the Oneg.